In Oxford, there is a secret world that you may not know about. As darkness starts to fall, the street lamps are lit by dragons. Dragons are secretive creatures that are very careful not to let anyone see them. The last time you were in Oxford, you may have thought you caught sight of a dragon, or even felt something pass you by, only to find there was nothing there. A young dragon called Drago lives in Oxford with his mummy, daddy, and older brother Flash. Drago's daddy has a very important job. He is the chief lamplighter for the whole of Oxford. Every night before darkness falls, a team of lamplighters make sure every street lamp in Oxford has been lit. When Drago grows up, he wants to be just like his daddy.
When can I go and work with you?
He asks.
When you're a grown-up dragon,
replies Daddy Dragon.
It is very dangerous for little dragons to make fire.
Drago's brother Flash is already being trained as a lamplighter. He often goes out with his daddy to practice.
Come on, Flash, it's time to go to work,
said Daddy Dragon.
Oh, do I have to?
See, I'd rather be with my friends,
replied Flash. Flash is always getting into trouble. If you ever look up and notice a street lamp that is not lit, then it is probably one of his, as he is always rushing his work so he can spend time with his friends. When Daddy Dragon and Flash are working, Drago has to stay at home with his mummy, making cakes and helping round the house.
If only I could breathe fire,
sighed Drago. He practised and practised all evening, but all he could manage were a few puffs of smoke. He is not a happy dragon. Mummy Dragon had been watching him.
Don't worry, one day you'll be old enough to breathe fire and then you can go and help light the street lamps.
Drago sighed as he felt that day would never come. The next day, Drago was in a very grumpy mood and was sulking when Flash found him. He told him what was wrong and how he really wanted to be able to make fire. Flash was fed up with being the one always in trouble and whispered to Drago,
You don't need to breathe fire to make it. I know of another way to make fire.
Really? Show me?
Drago said excitedly. Flash looked around to see if anyone else was nearby.
I could, but you mustn't tell anyone what we're doing. It's a secret.
Drago agreed as he really wanted to become a lamplighter.
Come with me to Henry's shed where no one can see us,
said Flash. Drago wasn't sure about it.
Are we allowed there?
Yes, it's fine. Do you want to learn how to make fire or not?
Snapped Flash. They hid behind Henry's shed so they wouldn't be seen. Flash pulled a box from his pocket and asked,
Do you know what these are?
No,
replied Drago. He was excited, but also a little scared as he knew fire could be dangerous.
These are matches,
whispered Flash.
If you strike one, you can make fire and help with the lighting of the street lamps.
He lit the first match and showed Drago what to do. Drago had a go and was so excited that he'd made fire that he wasn't paying attention to the match. When it reached his fingers, he dropped it and cried,
Ow, that really hurt. I burnt my fingers.
As the match landed on the dry leaves, they started to burn and the fire quickly reached Henry's shed. Soon that too was alight and the fire was spreading. Drago and Flash looked at each other horrified.
What have you done, Drago?
said Flash.
Oh, I'm getting out of here.
And with that, Flash ran away. Drago looked around, not sure what to do, and he panicked and ran away from the fire and ran back home. Drago was trying to get into the house without being noticed.
What's wrong, Drago?
called Mummy Dragon.
Nothing,
said Drago, looking down at his feet. Drago's daddy came running into the house.
Call the fire service. Henry's shed is on fire. All our fuel for the street lamps is in there, and it looks like the fire is spreading to the other buildings.
The next day, when the fire had finally been put out and the mess cleared up, Daddy Dragon was at home talking to the chief fire officer. Drago was helping his mummy in the kitchen and listening to what was being said in the other room.
It looks like someone has been playing with matches,
said the chief fire officer. Mummy Dragon turned and looked at Drago.
Do you know anything about this?
Drago looked up with big tears rolling down his worried face.
Didn't mean to set light to Henry's shed. Flash showed me how to make fire with matches. Look, I burnt my fingers.
He showed his mummy. The chief fire officer called Drago into the other room and in a stern voice said,
I hope you are now aware of how dangerous fire can be and the damage it can do.
Drago looked ashamed and nodded in agreement.
What can I do to make things right?
Drago asked.
You could help me by telling all the children in Oxfordshire how dangerous it is to play with matches and lighters and how they can start fires.
He replied. Meanwhile, Flash was hiding as he knew he was going to get into big trouble. Finally, Daddy Dragon found him.
You are not allowed to be a lamp lighter, as you have been naughty and played with fire,
said Daddy Dragon. Flash wasn't happy.
I didn't start the fire. Drago did. It wasn't my fault.
Drago's learnt his lesson and is going to help children learn about the dangers of playing with matches and lighters,
replied Mummy Dragon.
and we have decided that you are going to live and work with Grumpy Dragon in the land of snow and ice until you have learnt your lesson too,
said Daddy Dragon. Even now, Drago still helps out the chief fire officer by telling his story to the boys and girls of Oxfordshire. Next time you are in Oxford, take a look and see if you can spot a dragon. Remember the story of Drago and how you must never play with matches, lighters or fire.
Drago's top tips for children. Never play with matches or lighters. Fire is dangerous, you could get hurt. If you see matches or lighters lying around, tell your mummy or daddy or tell another grown-up.